Hey everyone, welcome back to the second episode, I guess, of Just a Thought. I'm recording this like 5-6 hours after the finals. I needed some time, a bit of time to like wind down a bit, just settle, I guess, like my emotions over it, and also like I really needed to eat. The games started like 7 a.m. my time, and after the finals, the award ceremony, just seeing all the reactions on Twitter. Um, I played a couple games because you see such a intense finals that you also end up wanting to play, and yeah, just really needed to eat and just gather my thoughts about the finals. So I mean, for those who watched it, I mean, I don't think you're listening to this and you haven't watched the finals, but DRX won. I think it's easy to say that they are, without a doubt, the best Cinderella story at Worlds. The ultimate underdog team. I went into it a little bit in the last episode, but just like a reminder that they were the fourth seeded LCK coming in. They were sixth place during the regular season. They got knocked out in the first in their first series in playoffs, and they ended up winning. They ended up winning the last slot for the original qualifier to make it into play-ins. And I remember during those times, I was cheering for Live Sandbox. I thought that their bot lane was just much better, um, and their ADC, I think his name is Prince, was really trying to drag his team over the finish line to get them into Worlds. So uh, a lot of people were watching this too, and then so they didn't have high expectations going into the tournament. Like listening to other podcasts and other like personalities tier lists, King and Pioshik. Um, there's nothing remarkable I remember hearing about them. If anything, Kingen was, I mean, he was suitable, but there wasn't anything outstanding. Pioshik, I've heard multiple times that he was like a liability. He was just not a good jungler. I mean, we saw some traces of that in this finals game, but um, uh, other than that, then other than that, you hear like Death Never Misses Worlds, and then Beryl is there as a home world champion, so he's not a bad player. Um, but then they went 6-0 in play-ins, first in groups. They had the second reverse sweep at Worlds against EDG, who are the reigning world champions. They 3-1 the LCK first seed, and now they have toppled over the greatest team of all time, and Deft has stopped Faker from getting his fourth. Now, with that being said, as I admitted last episode, I am a T1 fan. Now, does this loss hurt? Yes, of course it does. Uh, when T1 won their first game in such dominant fashion, I was initially excited, but then it clicked that this is exactly what happened against Genji. Both of these teams are known to concede first games to learn and adapt their strategy going into the games to come. And this was no exception. And especially at the end of the Game 5 draft, them leaving Caitlyn up and T1 not picking it, instead of picking into the Varus, instead of picking Karma first, letting the Caitlyn go over the Deft. And then when Barrow locking in Bard, I don't know, I instantly got like a sick feeling in my stomach. That's happened any other time that T1 just there's like there's a weird sensation I get when you can kind of just feel that T1 doesn't have the momentum, or that T1 is really backed against the wall, but there's nothing that they can do about it, which I thought surprising considering T1's champion pools, that they didn't have any like pocket pick, um, like barrel pulling off the board, which was actually really good, which was good and very impactful into their team bomb, but having a mobile mid lane and a mobile ADC. But other than that, um, we can go over the faults later. But yes, it hurt when T1 won. When T1 lost, I cheered up when Carrier started crying. But the thing is, at the same time, this was a finals where it was going to be bittersweet either way. So as much as I am like sad to see T1 not get their fourth, I'm really happy that Deft ended up winning his first. That Zeka was able to really prove himself as the best mid laner at the tournament. And I mean, DRX rightfully deserved it, in my opinion. They showed up. They, with no expectations behind them, they ended up winning it all. Deft, having as long as a career as Faker, finally can tick off winning worlds on his bucket list, because every pro should be aspiring to win worlds, in my opinion. But now he's won pretty much like every single major event a pro can dream of. He's won LPL, he's won LCK, he's won MSI, and he's finally won worlds. And it's a little bit poetic because Deft was also on the EG roster that eliminated Faker in MSI when Faker was playing his famous 100% win rate LeBlanc internationally. And I forgot the mid laner, but they ended up playing a Morgana pocket pick into LeBlanc, and they lost, and SKT lost then. So I guess what comes around goes around. It was just kind of interesting to see that parallel. But the thing is, DRX overall just had an insane glow up. Like King being able to solo the quote unquote best top laner in the tournament at the moment since 369 is out. Zeka all tournament long, just destroying every mid lane matchup he went into. And I think what's important to know is Zeka didn't get like a Kali in the finals. He only got like Silas and Azir, and he made it work. Beryl was super creative in his support picks, which was amazing to see. I mean, this guy is back to back to back in the finals. He's now the second player behind Duke to win Worlds twice on two separate teams. Tournament-wise, Pioshik also stepped up, but in the finals, that can be very debated. But that's not really to take away from what T1 was also able to accomplish. It's important to remember that with Zeus being implemented into the starting roster, this is what they were able to accomplish their first year as a fully complete roster. Zeus was only a sub last year, and Kana was in the top lane, and T1 ended up getting knocked in semis. So I think it's still important to acknowledge the leveling up T1 has done as well, because they looked doomed in the LCK finals. It was a 3-0 by Genji, and the meta just did not fit them. So seeing how much they've improved with Bengi hopping into head coach only like a month prior to Worlds was honestly kind of amazing. Um, I I personally hope that they stick together for at least one more year. I feel like they can accomplish many great things. I think they can just level up, learn from this experience of playing on T1, playing with the prestige in its name, um, and unfortunately, the heavy pressure and burden that comes with playing for T1. Um, like Carrier was just outstanding on his Lux. Like that was holy shit. He was just so good. I I still think Carrier is the best support. Um, but it is close with Barrel. Um, but let's be honest here. This wasn't, in my opinion, an amazing series. Narrative wise, yes, this was an amazing series. But in game skill, I don't think this was a good series. With the constant miss-smites from Pioshik, Guma being able to steal multiple Barons, Drakes, people just getting caught out for no reason. Failed, like you saw, like owner panicking in game 5, I think, where he flashed, failed to ulted backwards on Graves and failed to flash, ended up flashing backwards as well. You could see the panic in these players' eyes. Um, and besides, like the first game where T1 kind of clinically took down DRX, it was an extremely scrappy series. I don't want to say it was the highest level of gameplay we've seen, but because it was the finals and with the narratives behind both of the teams, I think the level of play was exaggerated or like inflated, in my opinion. But that's how I feel about the series. Um, I guess like a little rant I kind of want to go on is the toxicity behind T1 fans. Not to say that all T1 fans are toxic. I think every fan base has toxic, a small toxic part. Like there's always a small toxic community in each fan base, and I don't want to say that T1's toxic fan base is the majority of it, but they can be very obnoxious and they can be very loud. Um, and this is not even talking about the T1 fans in Korea with the whole trucking incidents. Like that's not acceptable for something like that to happen. Um, I mean, Twitter itself is a cesspool, but I think that people forget to be level-headed, to go into it with humility, to just be, just be humble. I did see some like T1 haters perspective on it, where it's like the CEO Joe Marsh kind of goes into every interview or public platform with an absurd amount of confidence. There's the whole like base CEO for Joe Marsh, and I admire his confidence through and through. I think it's one thing to just like talk shit when results strictly at the results, but he was confident the entire way into it, and you should be as a CEO. Um, One thing is also like you can tell he's very confident and proud and a bit show offish with his team, but at the same time, it's not with malicious intent or a lot of degree of seriousness. But to other people, that can kind of stand out as he's being dead serious about his team being the best and every other team is shit. And he's not afraid to talk about it on Twitter or on podcasts and stuff like that. Um, I just think it's important to I don't know, curb your arrogance. Uh, T1's had its glory days, sure, but claiming the constant claiming of the T1 fanboys when they're on a streak that they're unbeatable, that they're if you don't say that they're the best, that you're a piece of shit and your opinions are invalid. Um, like that, I don't feel right about it. Um, some people don't see what the issue is, but it's just a really bad look overall. Like if you're a T1 fan, that's like when they're winning, you are up in arms. You're like no matter what, you're telling everyone that T1's winning worlds, that no one else comes close to them, and you only act that way when they're winning, and then when they start to lose, you are a very quiet T1 fan. Then like, are you really a fan at all? You're just more of hopping on the bandwagon on the hype train. So that's a little rant I have about like toxic T1 fans. And yes, you could say that about like any fan base, but the Team One ones are in particular really annoying. And I'm saying this as a T1 fan. But the complete opposite is also true. Like the T1 haters or the faker haters. There's no way you can like logically dislike Faker as a pro, as a player. The guy has a pretty mint background. Um, if you were to criticize anything, it's just, I mean, like he wasn't the best. He wasn't the best mid laner today. Zeka, Zeka was just. I don't know. There's a greater sense of desperation from DRX to win it all. Um, but hopefully the rumors aren't true about them one trying to find Viper as their AD carry if only if Carrier becomes their support. I really do hope that T1 sticks together as a team to really mature and grow as a team. Who knows what the meta is going to be like next season? Uh, and well, the next season and the patches to come, there's going to be a lot of fucking changes. Um, but I think the meta overall this Worlds was very good. Albeit Yumi was really annoying. Like if you're on blue side, you had to ban it unless you're playing against Shenji. But this was a Worlds to definitely remember. Uh, it hurts that T1 lost, but with T1 losing, another legend is born. Deft is now like the goated AD carry of all time in terms of longevity and career success. You can argue that other players have had higher peaks, like Uzi or Jackie Love. But Deft has now really cemented himself as one of the best. High key, I was expecting a retirement announcement once he was able to lift off the trophy, but like retire on a high. But we'll see. He might either play for one more year before going to the military, or um, or he'll continue playing for an actual Last Dance. I think the Last Dance narrative was overused because these players still have one more year at the very least. So if they both make it to Worlds next year, are they gonna say the exact same thing? Because I don't know, it just got a little annoying. I have to be honest. See any other final thoughts? World ceremony was underwhelming, but I looking at different comments, the in-person experience was very different from the online experience. I thought it looked kind of cool. They really flexed like the 2019 projections in this one. Uh, the song itself, the world song, still it was growing on me, but I don't get the hype. I felt really bad that in the first performance with the call, the male singer was not able to come due to visa issues, and so the female guest singer, she only was there for like 10 seconds. She sang 2 lines, and that was it. And I was like, wait, is that is that it? Um, Player introductions were kind of weird because they were all on stage already. They weren't like walking out on stage, or the announcements were like. I guess it's like it's a bit different from tradition where they call out the player's name, um, and they take their spot in their chair. But rather, they did the announcement, did the analyst desk, and then nonchalantly, the teams went up to their chairs and to their stations. But but yeah, no, I guess that's all I have for Worlds. Um, I'm excited to see the World skins. The players have already expressed what champions they want. For those who don't know, let me just pull it up real quick. Kingin wants Aatrox to be his skin. Pioshik wants Kindred. No surprise there. His fans told him that if you want a good Kindred skin, it's go so bad, just win Worlds to get your own. So that's good to see. Zeka wants Akali. That's pretty iconic. Deft wants Caitlyn, and Beryl wants Ashe. I personally kind of wanted a World Heimerdinger skin. That'd be kind of cool, even though I wouldn't play it. But um, I gotta double check if players earn revenue from their skins, because if they do, then they've picked good champions for that. I mean, Ashe already has so many skins, so Ashe skin will do well. Caitlyn's a popular to see. Akali, people like they chose. I think the more niche one would be Kindred, but I'm excited to see what these skins look like. It's probably gonna be like 8 months till they're released, but I'm excited to see what shows up. But other than that, I think that's all I have for this episode of Just a Thought. If you've made it this far, um, please leave a like or a comment down below about uh, what you thought about Worlds. If there's random stuff or topics you want me to talk about or just pick my brain, leave a comment down below. As for other future episodes, they might be league related, but also I might just have some very short audio clips about quick rants with food because I'm technically a professional cook. So there are some rants I have about food and just random topics. So that'll be it for today. Congratulations, DRX, on your win. T1. I hope that you will come back stronger than ever, and I hope everyone has a lovely day. Cheers.